How's it going?
So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I go by AK. Has nothing to do with a gun. It's abbreviated for my name, which I don't want to disclose at this moment. But I was raised in a church family, minister of music. Born in Brooklyn, New York. Raised in Sanford, which they call the Sand Trap, 30 miles up the road where all the jobs are. I probably worked for 30 different factories, 30 different companies. I did labor work, tile, hardwood flooring, stuff like that. Long story short, like I say, I was raised in a Christian family. My father's a pastor. I was a minister of music most of my life from the time I was like 15 up until about 45. Me and my father got into it over a situation, um, internal family situation, where something was said by another one of my siblings to him that wasn't true, and it spiraled into a beer being brought into the house because I worked real hard that day. I just wanted to relax. Anybody out here in the homeless community can tell you that I don't even really drink beer. It's rare to see a beer can in my hands. Um, I do drink cognac, but that's in a social settings. Long story short, I brought a beer into the house. Um, I wanted to relax because I worked hard that day and I just wanted to get a deep sleep. I was working at Caterpillar out of Sanford during that time, saving money to get a car, trying to work on getting my second Mercedes Benz, which um, I had one, and the suspension is so good that that's really why I wanted, not just because it's an expensive car. I've had 13 cars. Um, Long story short, I did get that Mercedes. I had to live in it for 8 months. Um, all when my dad found the beer in the house, I drank half the beer. It got warm, left it in the refrigerator, in the freezer, and I went to sleep. He got up the next morning. He said, "You bring a beer in my house, 2 weeks." He gave me 2 weeks to get out. And mind you, I was faithful to my church, faithful to taking care of my mom and dad because they're elderly people, and that is what it is. My dad, I ain't gonna say he's a good dad, but he's a hard man. Um, he just seen it. He didn't see it that way. I said, I just want to relax. He said, relax, you know. But long story short, that led me to being homeless, um, living in my car. I wound up buying that Mercedes, white E320, paid cash for it, $3,800. I was working at Caterpillar in Sanford, and I saved that money as a temporary, making 1150. But I was getting a lot of overtime, so it allowed me to save that much money, and I stacked it in my room, not in a bank account, not nowhere. And I wound up having to live in the car for 8 months. The car got impounded down here because of how my daddy did it. It hurt me so bad I spiraled down, and I didn't really care. Behind the pain and the motivation of that, I ran the wheels off of it literally, to the point to where it had no brakes, it had no emergency brakes. The the power booster went in it with air. You could hear air in it, and I was still going hard down here.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, yeah. I could tell you so many stories. Almost, they was doing some construction on the road, and the state trooper was trying to. They was trying to do it a fast way without doing it the proper way. Almost ran into a state trooper. He pulled me. He said I could light you up. His face was so red, I almost killed him. Almost caused a pile up out here on the bypass in Spring Lake to Fayetteville. Um, Car battery died, ran out of gas or something. Couldn't move the car up on the hill. It was like a movie screen where they hit the brakes and you see smoke in the air and cars doing this.
Right.
I've been through some tremendous things. I don't know where to begin.
Well, let's start. How long have you been homeless?
After living in my car and for 8 months, that was in 2019. Car got impounded down here. Um, a total I say of 5 years now.
Okay.
And mind you, when I first got out here, I asked people. I said, "How long have you been out here?" Some people say 5 years, 10 years. And I look at them like, "You want to be out here?" I'm sad to say I've been out here 5 years, but out of that 5 years, I've rented rooms for people, myself and my girlfriend, and living with people. Like 5 different times, we rented rooms for people. Moving in with somebody is more crazier than living out here on the streets.
Really?
It really is.
You
Every
ever?
time we moved in with somebody, ambulances, fire, police, magistrate. Either I'm going or I'm sending.
Right.
It just always is. So me and my girlfriend, we vowed we would never move in with nobody else unless it's our own.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, and right now we're at the Regency Hotel. They got this program that came out of nowhere from a guy named Cedric that used to be. He did 22 years in prison. That's all I know about it so far. He's out of Charlotte.
Right.
He says he used to rob drug dealers. I don't want to tell his story. He needs to tell it for himself.
Definitely.
But he came into some money or somehow. He said God bless him. So he's renting or leasing the Regency Hotel. It's no longer a hotel. It is a program that they're trying to structure. They're getting it kind of structured. It's not fully structured the way it needs to be, but we're not homeless at this point,
That's a
and it's
beautiful
helping a
thing,
lot
man.
of people.
Absolutely.
So that's what's going on now. I am in school. I'm in SNHU online, Southern New
Right.
Hampshire University for computer science. It's my 4th year. Um,
Beautiful, man.
I'm taking one course per term, so I got 2 more years. I was thought this was going to be my last year,
Right.
um, but it was like, no, you got 2 more years. That's only because I'm taking one course per term. But I decided to make that move through another homeless lady that was out here that was very inspirational. She was living in her car, heavy set lady, and I think she had a son that had some a disability that I don't think she had custody of. But she motivated me. She was a Christian lady, and she motivated me. She said, AK, the mind that you have, you need to go into data analyst or some kind of computer thing. She's what motivated me to, at 50, I'll be 52 in July. She motivated me to do something with my life, even at my age, that I knew my mind was built for.
Right.
And I'm sad to say she's no longer here because she had congestive heart failure. She got COVID. They found her in her car dead. There's probably been about 50, 60 people that I bumped shoulders with that I was friends with out here that are no longer here. It's very sad. People freeze to death. People get hit by trains. Uh, Natural causes, of course, the violence. Out here, right at this park behind me, protecting my girlfriend um, over a situation that we didn't cause out of nowhere. Somebody was drunk, high, or whatever, jealous of us, I guess. I don't know. Jumped up and attacked my girlfriend, this other female. I broke it up. 10 minutes later, she jumped on her again. My girlfriend put out a knife, dropped her phone, ran to the store. The girl calls her boyfriend over on the other side of the park. He runs up on me. He says, "You don't want a problem with me." While I'm reaching, getting her book bag and her phone that she dropped, boom, I get hit. I spit blood, and I look out the corner of my eye. The guy that I was talking to, that was going to pay $10 back. We wasn't arguing or anything. It was just somebody, the girl was sitting beside this guy, and she just jumped in and was going crazy
Right.
about me talking to him. And long story short, when she called her boyfriend, hit me, I spit blood. I look out the corner of my eye, the guy that I was talking to, and the church was feeding during that time. There's about 50 people in the park. I look out the corner of my eye and I spit blood and I see him. He's walking and he's in a stance position. I know this guy. He means business when he gets that stance, and he's going to going to walk up on some of the church folks. Boom, a gun goes off. Guns are being shot in the air by church folks. My jaw is broken. I can't feel my lip, my chin. $50,000 reconstructive surgery. In Chapel Hill for 3 days. A team of 7 surgeons. It's dangerous out here. It's dangerous out here.
Have you had a lot of experiences like that while you've been out here? Numerous.
It's experiences like that all the time with people out here, man. I don't want to name names. I definitely not going to do it on camera.
Absolutely.
Because I'm out here. It's dangerous. But yeah, it's serious. Matter of fact, there was a guy named, we called him Uncle Sonny. I don't know what his real name was, but this story made the news. He was beaten to death right down here at this building, this white building down here by the park that they've remodeled.
Yeah.
This story made the news. I don't think they ever found his killers. He was bludgeoned. A machete was used. I don't know the full details. It made the news. I don't know if that story. There's countless stories that don't make the news.
Right. I can imagine. And you guys got to live with this every day.
There's
right?
rapists. There's pedophiles. There's murderers.
Right.
And just because somebody has committed murder, that doesn't make them a bad person. Whatever that situation was happened. Most of my friends and the people I call family out here, some of my brothers, not all, have killed people.
Right.
That doesn't make them a bad person. It's just what it is out here on these streets. It's just like being a soldier or anything else.
Product of your environment.
Yeah, it's a product of their environment. Where you got poverty and where you got drugs and where you got mental disabilities, and that's a major thing down here too in downtown Fayetteville. Mental disability. Um, um, Everybody has their own psychosis. Right. As intelligent as I would like to say that I am, triggered the right way, I have a psychosis. I'm not a dangerous person, but I don't want my psychosis triggered.
I understand. Do you have mental health issues that you've been diagnosed with?
I haven't been diagnosed, but I know that I have PTSD. I know at once upon a time I had social anxiety. I got over that myself years ago.
Right.
It's just I did have a spot with drugs or whatever. I remember going and raised in church. I remember going after church. We go out to eat, and I had got on drugs back in '94. Hard drugs, crack cocaine. I would say that on camera. I don't have nothing to hide about that. Because I'm proud of how far I came.
Absolutely.
But there was a time when this is what a man told me. When a baby is born, that you see the curves in a person's brain. They're curves. A baby doesn't have those curves. Everything that you learn from a child, it forms those curves. And when you do hard drugs, it straightens those curves out. It reverts you back to a baby.
Right.
It made sense to me, and I see it be true. But long story short, I know I had developed social anxiety, and that was back in the 90s, to the point to where we go in and eat at a restaurant, and the waitress says, "Hey, hello, how you doing?" I literally wouldn't know what to say.
Right. And it's not like they were diagnosing people back then anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And all these like these terms that they put labels on now. You say, oh, when they had that commercial one time, I remember, these are signs when you have this, and it was like 20 different things. And I was like, oh my God, I checked off all those. And I'm like, seriously. But yeah, that's a major thing out here, mental health. And then there are some people that are illiterate. And by no fault of their own, maybe they got passed through, or maybe they got overlooked, or maybe they just were picked on in school because of that, and they just never got their GED or whatever.
Right.
There's so many levels to this thing, but the bottom line is, what I've seen down here is that a lot of organizations, a lot of people prey on the homeless with scams. They come right here, right to this area, or all around where they know there's homeless people, where there's a phone scam, a check cashing scam, or something that seems like it's going to help you. And I'm not talking bad. I don't want to say too much about the city, because I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Sanford, which is a sand trap. I've lived in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. Southern Pines is also my home. I've lived in Rayford, maybe a few other places that I can't recall right now. But those are some that I have lived in. And then I want to say this: I've been coming to Fayetteville all my life. This is a fun time to go out and have something to eat, go to the movies, take a date. I didn't know till being on ground level why nobody cares down here. Now I know. It's like there's nothing to believe in. I call it the city of false hope. Every time that I felt like there was hope from some organization or for something down here, it turned out to be something where they get your information, they get your social security number, they get the funding. I don't see any help. I don't see any funding. And two times there was a program called Endeavors, where they were putting us into hotels. Me and my girlfriend were in a hotel for 8 months. That was a beautiful program. Had nothing to do with Fayetteville. That was out of Texas, but it was in Fayetteville. This program, this guy's supposed to be out of Charlotte. Why isn't Fayetteville doing any of this? If somebody outside can come in from another city or state and do it, what is Fayetteville doing with a black mayor? And we also had a black police chief, which is no longer there. I'm not getting all that, but it's a very corrupt city.
I couldn't agree more.
And that's all I want. I'm gonna say on that. If you have any more questions, you can ask me. But I'm a very verbal, um, very
passionate.
Yeah,
very passionate.
Very passionate about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I have enough intellect to speak the dialogue the right way to
very
not get lost.
Yes,
yes.
All right. Well, no, I appreciate all your time. Before I let you go, is there any kind of message that you want to leave out for the world?
As dark as the world seems, and like I said, I was raised in church, and I was raised, mind you, in New York City. I'm a baby boy. And when my mom and dad got saved in New York, they prayed and asked God to send me. And he said, "You're not an accident, baby. You were intentional." And when I was born, I don't know if anybody ever seen the movie Roots. They helped me back up to God, like Kota Kinte, when I was born and all this kind of stuff. The devil tried to destroy me before I was born. They wound up in back in New York times when my mom was pregnant. They went to the wrong clinic, and they were paying people to abort their babies, or not abort them, but to give them for scientific purposes. And my dad got mad, and he wasn't a preacher then, but he cussed the people out. And then I'm the baby boy, and the last child my mama had, she almost died having me. So I wasn't supposed.
Feel like you weren't even supposed to be here, kind of thing.
Right, but because I was a planned pregnancy and they asked God to send me, I'm not better than anybody else, but I know that I'm chosen. 7/17/73. That's my birthday. Triple sevens. Doesn't make me better than nobody, but you got to know who you are. And even though I go through these things, God has given me the strength to go through them, and He also puts people in my care that He knows that I can be responsible for as a man and doing His work. But the message that I want to give is everybody's not bad. It's a dark world right now, but darkness can never be stronger than light. All it takes is one person just like you. Don't have me on camera crying. But a person just like you to care, man. And I know you said this, that, or the third. It's not about. It's just about the message getting out. And you said you're going to try to work with the city and get this message to the city. And there's been other people that said if we all get together and go down to City Hall, the reason nothing is getting done because it's masses. It's like the city. I think the city doesn't see it as a problem. When you got thousands of people in a city, and there's only 500 total homeless, they don't see that as a problem. They see it as a nuisance. Anytime you have a tent city, you'll put them in a hotel for a week or two just to get them out of the way, and then put up signs and it'll find you and put you in jail if you go back. It gets us out of the sight of the public, not helping. They see us as a nuisance. But again, I'm gonna leave it like this because I'm very talkative. Um, um, what I've seen is when things hit the news, things get done. There's so much I can say, maybe for your part two at any time. I'm gonna leave my number with you because there's more to say. I like to sit down and just really uh, pinpoint some issues. But I just want to say, if you said if there's a message I can say, darkness can never be stronger than light. And it's people like you. If you don't shed your light, then the world, everything goes dark. You can be in a universe, a multiverse of darkness, and light, one cigarette lighter or one match, and it can be seen from trillions of light years away. Darkness can never be stronger than light. Be a light is all I can say, and thank God for you, brother.
Words. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.